Right, we are on record today for purposes of an initial disposition for the father in this case. This is a transfer case from Coldwater. I've had the opportunity to talk with the attorneys. Mr. Brooks has had the opportunity to talk with his client for a few minutes, and I anticipate some developments, some comments. Appearances, please.
Lee Heiss, lawyer, guardian ad litem.
Nastasia Thomas, counsel for the department. I don't know if the worker is in there. Ricky Nolan.
She's here.
Mr. Brooks.
Michael, excuse me, Michael Brooks. I'm appearing on behalf of the father, Mr. Stage, who is present. Mr. Stage, identify yourself.
Skylar Stage.
Thank you. All right, do we have a representative from, are you the caseworker?
Yes.
Please come up and have a seat next to Ms. Heiss and give us your name for the record.
Ricky Nolan.
We didn't spell it, so we don't spell it wrong.
RICCINOLAN.
Thank you. I'm glad I asked. All right, comments about our sidebar, Ms. Thomas.
Thank you, Your Honor. After review of the proposed case service plan, I am requesting an adjournment to ensure that we are complying with the requirements for an incarcerated parent and ensuring services are tailored to his needs. And I have not had an opportunity to do that quite yet. I also believe that there is some concern about current or the placement of the child and what is best. And so I think that an adjournment would allow us more opportunity for those issues.
All right, and for the record, we explored October 3rd at 3 o'clock. Is that right? And you're clear on that day?
That is correct, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Brooks.
Well, Your Honor, for the benefit of the caseworker, I will let her know that I informed you. My opinion is the case service plan, given the fact my client's incarcerated, is a fairy tale, since absolutely none of those programs are available to him at the Hillsdale County Jail, or frankly, any other jail that I'm aware of. And I think they need to be reviewed in light of the protocols required for incarcerated people to see what can and can't practically be done. I've told my client, I introduced myself to my client, told him that I have just a fraction of the file, does not include a copy of the petition or an adjudication of his status as a neglectful parent. And then I'm waiting for that to be sent to me. I've also advised him that we have some questions about whether or not the placement of his child in a non-relative placement is the most appropriate situation, given the fact there are relatives who would be interested in being caretakers. And he said he thinks his parents, his mother and dad, would make excellent candidates for this, who I assume are back in Branch County where all of this started. That's it.
Okay, Ms. Heiss.
I think that actually accurately reflects the sidebar.
Very good. And what are your thoughts on the adjournment?
So I also have recently received the placement contact information and was unable to see the child. So I would like an adjournment to be able to do that, and also to participate with conversations about the prioritizing a family placement that's inconvenient for mom to visit. But the advantages of that over a non-relative foster care that can help with transportation. So there's a lot of things to evaluate that I would like some time for.
Do you think it would be useful for the court to order a family team meeting on those issues? Or should I simply leave you to it and check in on the 3rd?
I think leave us to it, because Miss Ricky will have to get a hold of one person then the other. I don't know that we can all get in one place. I think she can help us coordinate the communication.
All right, very good. Are there any other thoughts before we reconvene for the disposition on the 3rd then? I'll be leaving all prior orders in full force and effect, including that removal and placement for the time being. Obviously, I remain available in the event that there needs to be a change in that placement. And I will acknowledge for the record and for the benefit of Mr. Stage that relatives do have priority in these cases for placement. So I will be expecting a very thorough analysis of the reasons why, in this case, it may or may not be appropriate to continue a placement outside relatives, given that we have some able and willing relatives. And that could include, obviously, the background checks and the vetting of those particular candidates. And we'll go from there.
And I believe that duty is within the first 30 days, and we've got removal and branch in July, so we'll make sure we get right on it.
Yes, I appreciate it. All right. Well, again, all prior orders will remain in full force and effect. I do find that the adjournment is appropriate under the circumstances to allow the meeting and the renovation, if you will, of the case services plan to accurately reflect what Mr. Stage has available to him and potentially what we would be looking for from our caseworker to supplement if there are no services available, such as homework packets that you can send over, monthly updates, and there are some other things that I'm sure Ms. Thomas can talk with you about that would help us understand what's available to him and what services could be offered under the circumstances. Did you have a question?
I did. That case service plan was when or if he got out of prison. I had talked to him and he had already told me there are no services in there. So that case plan was written for if he got out of jail. If he goes to prison, he'll have more alternative means to do things. But yes, I can send workbooks to him.
Well, I'll leave you to chat with Ms. Thomas about those issues, okay?
Okay.
All right, so we'll see you all October